Started. We are live. All right, so check the attendees. So we're getting some attendees now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, attendees, if you'd like, as we're giving you a couple minutes to allow attendees to flow in. If you'd like to leave your name, your business, where you're from in the chat, we'd love to see it. We'll get started in just a minute.
You know, it's funny, Joseph, when you said for them to put their names and stuff in the chat. I went to this one webinar and the host was like super energetic, Oh, we've got this person from this place and that person from that place. And there was something about it that just didn't seem quite right. And so I went and looked at the next supposedly live webinar, and it was this. She was reading the same names from the same.
Oh, wow! So it's kind of in the script, maybe, or something.
It was a record. She recorded a previous webinar and was pretending that it was live.
Interesting.
It's like Milli Vanilli, on steroids. Yeah. I got Dave with that one.
Dave, it could have been Bananarama. So
did you used to be a Milli? Did you used to be a Milli Vanilli fan, Dave?
Oh, we all grew up in the 80s and stuff, so we remember Milli Vanilli and Bananarama and all those others.
I don't think Joseph knows who. What's that?
Milli Vanilli? Oh yeah,
no, I know who they are. You?
Bananarama. Yep. I'm a huge 80s fan. I mean, I was born in '86. I mean, I was a baby, but I still appreciate the 80s. It's one of my favorite decade.
Terrific.
We had some of the best music.
Oh, best music of all time.
and the hair.
Mm-hmm. And the retro gaming. That's my favorite. All right, folks, we're going to go ahead and get started. We want to be respectful for everyone's time. I'd like to introduce myself, Joseph Cordova with the Sacramento Valley SBDC. We welcome you today. We're going to go ahead and get started. We have a big agenda for today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to our host. But before that, if you have any questions, leave that in the Q&A or the chat. As a reminder, this webinar is being recorded. You will receive a link to the recording as well as the slides. So you will get all that information, as well as how to sign up for our services. And you'll get all that in a follow-up email. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and throw it to John, be respectful of everyone's time. So John Goldberg, SBDC advisor, take it away.
Terrific. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and share the screen and open up the slideshow. And we also have Dave Shaw here today. He's going to be a guest speaker. And let me know, I'll let you know when he's going to come on. And let me know, can you see the full screen now?
Yep, it's looking good, John.
Terrific. Okay, so welcome. This is I was talking right before the thing about somebody who was pretending that they had a live session. I just want you to know, this is actually a live session. There's no pretense going on here. So this is a big deal. This is put on by 4 organizations. I've rarely been involved in things that 4 organizations, but there are 4 here. And they are the Sacramento Valley SBDC, Small Business Development Center, also the Yuba-Sutter Chamber of Commerce, the Yuba-Sutter Economic Development Corporation, and Yuba County Enterprise Solutions. So we've got a lot of folks behind this, and I'm going to get right into the content here. Move on to the next slide. So important thing to say at the beginning of every session, there are 5 sessions, and I read this whole thing last time, so I'm not going to read the whole thing. The point I want to make is I am not an attorney, and I am not a CPA. And so please do not rely on me for, like, I might give you my lay opinion, but I'm not giving you financial or legal advice because I'm not a lawyer and I'm not an accountant. Okay, moving on. So this is the whole series. I don't know how many people were here last time. Actually, if you were here last time, why don't you put a yes in the chat so then we'll know. So it's every Wednesday, 5:30 to 7 through November 8th. And here's the schedule. Last week we had how to start your business, had to do with legal stuff and all that. And then this time is planning your business. And then the first of our financing ones, it's called financing your business. Then we got a marketing one. And the very last session is more finance, but it has to do primarily with financial statements. And again, if anybody has any questions or comments along the way, please feel free to, if you want to make sure that we see them and respond to them, put them in Q&A. But if you just want to put them in chat, that's fine too. Okay, so here's the agenda for tonight. So we're doing introductions and course overview. So we asked you to put your names and your information in the chat as your introduction. Don't think I have a slide for me this time, so I'll just tell you. I have an MBA from Case Western Reserve University. I teach at Sac State and Sac City colleges, business and management. And I'm a business advisor for a small business development center here in Sacramento area. And I love doing training. I've done lots of corporate training, and I'm very glad to do this one this evening. And Dave Shaw will introduce in just a moment. So we're going to talk about how planning helps, why it's important, right? And then different kinds of plans, and then how you build a plan. And then we're going to talk about some financial requirements. We're going to go sort of light on that one tonight because we do have those two other finance sections or sessions, I should say. And then we're going to give you some tools and resources that can be helpful for you before we wrap up tonight. Okay, so the objective tonight, or objectives, by the end of this course, you will be able to, this is the whole this is just for tonight. Explain the reasons for creating a business plan. Thank you. I see we have closed captioning. That's good. And then select the kind of plan that's appropriate for you, because there are 4 kinds we're going to talk about. There's also the napkin, the back of the napkin, but we're not going to talk about that tonight. And then you can actually, if we have time, you'll be able to complete your first draft of a lean canvas. Understand and explain the financial documents you will need to support your business plan. And you know what? Sue Yee, who was on here, who's the director of the Sacramento Valley SBDC, I ran short on time last time, and I'm just wondering, because I did this before with the Davis Chamber of Commerce, and we had plenty of time. I'm just wondering if that was a 2-hour session. This was an hour and a half. So Suyi, if you could put in an hour and a half or 2 years for David, 2 hours for Davis, that would be helpful for me to know that. And help me to keep myself on pace.
I think it was an hour and a half, John.
Okay, terrific. Okay, so we're going to talk about how planning helps. So the first thing I want to tell you is that at least one study showed that a business with a plan is 6 times more successful than a business without one. And a lot of people just say, "Oh, I want to have this business," and they start. And there is this saying, which you might have heard, which is failing to plan is planning to fail. So very important to have a plan. And come on, let's go. So one way that a plan helps is to create a business model that works. And you need a business model, and you need one that works. So planning can help you do that. It also helps you provide direction. It helps provide direction, right? You know where you're going. Your plan is telling you where you should go. And then it helps you create metrics, things you can measure along the way to know whether or not you're meeting your plan. Also helps you get money. You can get investors, you can get loans. You cannot get investors or loans, almost never, unless you have a plan. Also to get a lease, sometimes landlords want to see if you have a business plan and whether they think it's going to be successful before they lease you their property. Okay, so a business model, so that's one part of a plan, right? It helps you think through the important questions about your business. And I'll show you a couple of different business models a little later. It helps you understand the risks and opportunities that are in front of you. Business is all about risk and reward, right? And so you want to understand what those are. And you want to define the framework that your business will use to start and grow. So that's what a model does. And then finally, it makes sure that your business can be profitable. If it looks like it will be from the beginning, it's much more likely that it actually will be. Let's see if there's one more point. Nope. Okay. So now I want to talk about the part about direction and metrics. So a business plan helps you build your business goals. If you have a goal and then you figure out how you're going to get to that goal, you're much more likely to get there. And to set milestones. Okay, by this date, we should have this, and this date, we should have that. So that our goal, which is a year from now or 2 years from now, whatever it is, that we'll get there by that time. And then you can ensure that things are going the way you thought they would. And if they're not, they'll tell you. It's sort of like an early warning system to say, excuse me, I need to correct my course so I can get back on course and be successful with the plan. Excuse me. Allergies. Oops, help. Speaking of businesses, I should invest in Paul's. Okay. Oops. So money helps you get money because it shows other people you're serious and it convinces them the business is viable. Nobody's going to give you a loan or an investment, unless they're a fool, if they don't think it's viable. So your plan is how you show them that that's the case. And helps you get a lease and maybe to negotiate for that lease. If they say, look, we're not going to be making very much in the first 6 months, but we're making a whole lot more in the last 6, maybe you can get a break on the rent in the beginning and maybe or maybe not make up for it later. Okay, so just a quick review how planning helps. And again, if you got questions, put them in the Q&A or the chat. So it helps you build a business model. It helps you get money. And it helps you have things you can measure to see how successful your business is being. So at this point, I think we have a poll. Do we have a poll?
All right, yeah, let me go ahead and get that poll going. So a poll should be launched now. So if all attendees, if you guys would answer, that would be great. Looks like we have a couple responses so far. We got 3. We'll go ahead and give it another 30 seconds. Got 5. All right, we'll go ahead and end the poll now. Looks like we've got most of the participants have answered. So I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share the results.
Okay, thank you so much. So everybody says, oh, well, almost everybody, most of the people said create a business model that works and provide direction and get money. I just want to point out, as my understanding of what I just covered, all of the above is true. Everything other than other is true. But very interesting on the second part. So most everybody wants it to create a business model that works because you only had one choice there and another one for money. So great thinking about how you can use a plan. So let's go ahead. I'll go ahead and hit the stop sharing button and then I'll close it. And now we'll go on to the next part. Oh, so this is where I'm supposed to tell you can put stuff in the chat and etc. So now we have our time for our guest speaker, Dave Shaw. You might be familiar with his name, maybe his face. He is a member of the City Council in District 1 of the city of Yuba City. And there's 3 things he might talk about this evening. One of them is business planning, because that's the topic for tonight. He might talk a little bit about finance, because he has expertise in that area, though we do have 2 sessions coming up where we're going to go way in depth about finance. But specifically, I want him to talk about, because a lot of times people have questions early on, how do I get a business checking account? So Dave, if you can just talk briefly about any of those 3 things, it'd be great to hear from you. And I'm going to stop sharing the screen if I can. And let's hear from Dave.
All right. Thank you, John. It's a pleasure for me to be here tonight and offer what I have, to you as you're on your business venture. As John said, I'm on the city council, but what I really do for a living is I am a financial advisor and an accountant. I'm an enrolled agent, my accounting degree, registered investment advisor, and actually set on the EDC, which is one of the sponsors. We're a member of the Chamber of Commerce, and we're kind of embedded in the community. And it's refreshing to see the slides that I saw and know where we're going tonight, because I've seen so many businesses over the years have these questions. So you're going to get a wealth of knowledge tonight to get you off on the right track. The one thing that we want to talk about is, opening a business checking account. I'll give you that right out of the chute. You're going to need a couple of basic items. And one is going to be a federal ID number. And I highly encourage you to get a federal ID number versus using your social security number just for identity theft protection. And you would get a federal ID number by going to the IRS website at irs.gov. And you will see where it says apply for an employer identification number. You can do it right online. You will need your information, your social, your business. If you're planning on hiring employees or not, you can simply tell it that you want an employer identification number for banking purposes. So you don't have to have employees, and just walk through the form. And at the end, it will give you the option of get it online as far as your number or have it mailed to you. Get it online because you click that little link and the letter pops onto your screen. You have your number in less than 5 minutes. You print that off, save that. You're going to need to take that to the bank with you. Depending on where you're located, you're going to need a copy of your business license. You're also, if you're operating under a DBA, doing business as, you're going to need a fictitious business name statement. And if you are an entity, if you've chosen to become a corporation, you're going to need some corporate documents with you, such as a corporate resolution stating that the corporation is going to open a bank account with whichever bank you're at. So those are really the cusp of what you need. And the last and most important, you're going to have some money to put into the account to open it. So once you do that, with any bank around here, they should be able to get you an account open. You want to do your due diligence and find out what kind of banking fees they're going to charge you, how easy they're going to be to work with based upon your business needs, and then make your decision based upon that. We have a lot of community banks, regional banks, and national banks, and you're going to get different levels of service and different fees at each one. So definitely spend time and analyze what your needs are for banking and find the best fit for you there. A couple of other things I wanted to cover tonight after looking at the slides, because I've also been on the other side of the coin to where not only am I preparing clients to go get loans, leases, helping with their business plan, but I've been on the other side of the table where people are looking for us to invest money. And so one of the things that it's coming up here shortly, it's your business plan is an opportunity to promote. And I say that from the other side, because when I'm sitting across from someone that has a great idea as an investor, I want to know that, first of all, they know what they're doing. They're energetic about it. They're passionate about it, because that starts carrying a lot of weight. You put that type of energy behind a well-thought business plan, then you're going to get investors, whether that be a bank or private equity. You're going to get people that are going to want to invest in you. And one of the other common questions that we look at across the table is, what's your investment? So know that as you're growing your business, starting your business, you have an investment as well. But this business plan is going to help you be successful. It's not you do it at the beginning and it's there for 50 years. It's always going to evolve. Matter of fact, we're doing some revisions to our business plan here in our office right now as a team. We've been looking where we want to go for the next 5 years. So you're always going to be refining it, but that's how you're going to tell your story. That's how you're going to tell people how you're going to succeed. And so keep that in mind, that you've got to be one of your biggest cheerleaders. But when I want to invest in your company, I've got to know that you're serious about it. You've thought it through, and a well put together business plan will get you there. So hopefully that will help you guys tonight. And John, I'll give it back to you unless there's other questions you'd like.
And again, anybody, please feel free to put questions in the Q&A or the chat, and we'll try to answer all of them that we can.
All right, John, looks like we do have a question in the
Okay.
chat. Is a business license always required? Is one question.
Yeah, I just pulled that up. A business license is going to depend on where your business is located. The counties, for example, typically do not have a business license. Cities definitely do. So if you have a home-based business and you reside within the corporate city limits, you're going to need a business license. If you are, say, for example, out in a rural area of Yuba County or Sutter County, you should not have to have a business license. So great question, but check with where you're doing business, whether it's your storefront or your house.
Great, thanks so much. And I also want to say, I see that we have Rachel Downs here again. Rachel was one of the guest speakers last week. So Rachel, thanks so much for coming back. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again.
I just wanted to say my pleasure, John. Sorry, I was struggling with that mute button, but happy to join you guys and listen into the conversation.
Terrific. Thanks so much again for
Absolutely.
returning.
Yeah, my pleasure. And well done, Dave, as always.
And remind me, you're with Yuba City, Yuba County, or some other, which entity are you with?
I'm the business engagement manager for the county of Yuba. So as Dave presented, yep, he works with the city council in Yuba City, and then
Right.
I across the river for our locals and your local contact for Yuba County.
So for Marysville and other towns out there.
Yep, Linda, Oliver, Plymouth Lake, everybody out here in Yuba County.
Terrific. Terrific. Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is different kinds of plans. Just want to make sure you can see the screen here.
Yep, we can see your screen, John.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to talk about different types of plans. So the first one I'm going to mention is the lean canvas. And I'm going to go into some detail about these in a minute. I want to show you a document, and Joseph, all the participants are going to get a copy of this slideshow, right?
Yep, that is correct.
Great. So here's, when you click on this, you're going to get, so the person who created the lean canvas about a dozen years ago, he keeps refining his thinking. And these two slides here, I think, are tremendously helpful to understand the lean canvas. But I'm going to be working on some other stuff for lean canvas tonight. So we'll keep going. The next thing is a one-page business plan. Another one is the traditional business plan, which people have been doing for a long time. And then finally, there's a pitch deck. So I'm going to talk about each of these, which one you need for what. So if you need money or a lease, then, well, let's start with this. If you don't need money or a lease, then, and the answer is no, then you could just use a lean canvas, and that would probably be plenty. But if you need money or a lease, and you're looking for equity investment, meaning people to invest in your company and they would own some portion of your company as a result, then you probably need a pitch deck. But if you need money or a lease and you're not looking for equity investment, then you probably don't need a pitch deck, but you are going to need either a one-page business plan or a traditional business plan, depending on who the lender or what the lender or the property owner wants. So let's go on to those plans. So let's talk about the lean canvas. Okay, so a person named Ash Maurya created it in 2010. He adapted it from another model called the business model canvas. I happen to think the lean canvas is better because it includes the customer and the customer's problem, which the business model canvas does not. So talk about strengths and weaknesses. So it's great for startups. And it only has 9 questions and sections, so it's pretty easy to do. And you can also use it if you're going to make a one-page business plan or a pitch deck or even a traditional business plan. You can use that to organize your thinking to then move on to the next kind of plan you want to make. And it's less structured. Okay, so here's the format and here's the parts, right? So first of all, you want to know who's your customer and what's their problem or the opportunity they want to take advantage of and have not been able to do that. And then what is your unique value proposition? So that's, how are you different and better than the competition? Why should they buy from you than anybody else? Then you get into your specific solution. So entrepreneurs often want to jump straight to the solution, right? But you need to think first about who your customers and their problems are and what you're offering them. What's the value to them before you get into this specific solution? You might come up with a wonderful solution, but maybe the customers don't want it. Or maybe that's not actually the problem. So that's why you need to start up here. Then this is called unfair advantage. I call it value or advantage. The idea here is that you've got competition. If there's somebody's got a problem, somebody's out there trying to make money solving that problem. So the question is, if you can be better, you're going to start taking market share and they're going to want to copy you. So the question is, can you keep them from copying you? How can you do that? A patent, a trademark, a copyright, a network of loyal customers, expertise that nobody else has. There's lots of ways you can do that. Then you have to think about the money. Where's the money going to come from and how much? And then your cost, same thing, where your cost going to be and how much. And then what are you going to measure to see how successful you're being? And then finally, what marketing channels can you use to sell your product or service to your customers? Those are your marketing channels. So that is what the Lean Canvas does. And I hope we'll have time to actually give you a chance to do one tonight. So how to use it? So it's funny. These next three things I'm going to tell you, I think it tells you to do this for everyone. You work through each section, keep it short and simple, and avoid generalizations. I think I'm going to tell you the same thing about all four plans. We'll see. So here's the one-page business plan. And it was created in 1997 by somebody named Jim Horan. And here's some stuff about strengths and weaknesses. Very easy to share with potential lenders and investors. It's one page. And then let's go to the next part here. Where are you? But it's not enough detail for if you're going to get a bank loan, they might go, oh, we need more of this. And you have to have separate financials because there's no place for finances in this particular plan. So the format includes your vision of your company, which is what you're building, your mission, which is why you're building it. People care a lot about why. Your objectives, what results you're going to measure. I mentioned that before. Strategies, what will make your company successful over time. So how are you planning to be successful in milestones, all that kind of stuff. So that's the format for the one-page business plan. And again, questions or comments, please put them in the Q&A or the chat. Oh, and of course, action plans. How are you going to make all this happen? So that's what is the work to be done. So how to use it? Answer each question, keep it to a single page, avoid generalizations. Oh, it's slightly different. Okay. So here's the traditional business plan. So the history is, it's been around for a very long time. I don't know when the first one was written. Could be hundreds of years ago. I don't know. Strengths and weaknesses. It's a detailed plan. It covers every single aspect of the business, but it might be more work than you have to do. And here's what the format is. So, and there's lots of different formats. You've got this thing called bplans.com where this list is from, and I'll give you some resources at the end, including B plans that you can access. So that traditional plan includes a summary, which you're going to want to write last. You want to write everything and then summarize it, but put that in the beginning. It says what the opportunity is, and you can see what these categories are. This is how you're going to do it, and this is the categories under it. And then we've got stuff about the company, the overview, the team, all that kind of stuff, the financials, and then in the appendices, which should at least include your financial statements. How to use it, create the summary last, give it to potential lenders and landlords, and banks most often want this format. So I was wrong. They weren't all the same. Those three questions or three bullet points were not all the same. But now we're going to go to the pitch deck. History. Well, we were talking about the 80s when we started. So it came from the 80s. That's a good thing. Strengths and weaknesses. So this is a format that most investors recognize and they want to see it. They're expecting to see it. It's very short and precise. Probably shouldn't be more than about 10 or 12 slides. Some of them are even shorter. But you have to have separate financials. You can do like a little financial summary, but you got to have a separate place that you're going to put the details of your finance documents. And it's usually not enough for a bank. Oh, and I forgot to mention, some credit unions also have business lending. So in addition to banks, you might check with a credit union, especially if you're a member and they have business banking. So pitch deck format, you want to have all the, basically there's lots of ways to do it. But I personally, I like the lean canvas a lot. I would just use what's in the lean canvas. Value proposition, problem opportunity, the market. Market is your customers. Your solution, your business model, let's say the overall thing. Roadmap and traction, that has to do with how you're doing in your marketing channels. Mentioned about marketing, the team. So you want to, in a pitch deck, you got to say who the team is. And here's the thing. If your team is better than your idea, put the team in the first slide. If your idea is better than the team, then put the team in the last slide. But I do want to say something about the team. If you're building a team for a business, find rock stars and make sure that when you put them on the slide, they look like rock stars. So for the last few years, I've been the CEO of a sunscreen company, and our CTO, our Chief Technical Officer, he's a chemistry professor at UC Davis. He worked in 2 Nobel award winner labs. So you put that on a slide and all of a sudden he's a rock star, right? So you want to make sure that everybody on your team hopefully is a rock star, or at the very least, they look like one. And I'm not talking about the hair or anything. Okay, and then you want to include your financials in the pitch deck. And is there something else? Oh, you have to include the competition. I would personally put it in the order of the lean canvas, but you can do it in the way that you think works for you.
John, can I interject
Yes.
thought here? Again, being on the opposite side where companies have come to us and asked us to be a capital investor with them, the one thing that's missing from that we're going to want to hear is what am I as an investor? Because that's where you're going to be using the pitch deck, is you're seeking capital into your company.
Mm-hmm.
So, I love it that you're enthusiastic. I love it that you're building the latest and greatest project and you've got rock stars. But at the end of the day, I also want to know, if I invest in your company, how long is it going to take me to get my money back?
Mm-hmm.
What's, how fast you're looking for it to grow. It gets all into the financials. You're going to be doing that in a few weeks. But as an investor, those are some questions that come to my mind, is how can I benefit by benefiting you?
Great, thank you. And that's where you put that stuff in the financials. And the other thing is, you want to tell them, we need 100,000, 200,000, 10,000, whatever it might be. And you want to tell them, here's how we're going to use those funds, because they want to see that that's something that's actually going to make your business successful. Okay, so just a quick review: types of plans, lean canvas. It's a great start, but you have to ask if it's enough for your business and for what you want to get from your plan, like money or whatever. A one-page plan, it's concise. Traditional plan, it's detailed. It covers every aspect of your business. And then the pitch deck is aimed at investors, and some micro lenders are also willing to see a pitch deck or prefer to see a pitch deck rather than a traditional plan. So at this point, I think we've got another poll.
All right, so let me go ahead and get that poll.
And while he's
launched.
putting that up, if you have questions or comments, please feel free to post them.
All right, so we should have another question launched now. So I'll go ahead and give the attendees about 45 seconds to go ahead and answer. All right, about 15 seconds left. All righty, so I'm gonna go ahead and end and share the results now.
So 2-1 for the one-page business plan, but also votes for lean canvas. There weren't any votes for traditional business plan, or the pitch deck, but I want to remind you, All of them are good, just depends on what you're using them for. So let us go right ahead on to the next slide here. Oh yeah, just telling you can put stuff in the chat if you want. Okay, so here's how to build a plan. So let's see where we are in time. I'm a little worried. I'm going to give you, I'm not going to give you enough time to actually make a lean canvas, but I am going to give you enough time to start a lean canvas. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share this. So you're going to have to make a copy of this. I'm going to put it in the chat, the link to it. Oops, that's the wrong place. Hold on. Where's my Zoom window? Huh. Oh, I see. I have to, oh, there it is. There it is. Okay, so I'm going to put a link to a lean canvas here for everybody. And I should be giving, if you wanted to do the whole thing, at the very least, really, you could spend, some hours on this, but at the very least, you need at least a few minutes on each part. We're not going to take a few minutes because then I think we're going to run out of time. So what I'm going to do, can you see the screen now? My screen?
Yes.
Okay. So please do click on that link or copy and paste that link from the chat to get to a lean canvas. Make a copy of that document, and then I'm going to ask you to fill out the different sections of the document. I'm only going to give you about 1 minute for each part, but I hopefully it'll give you a chance to start your thinking, right? So so let's go ahead. I'll talk to you about each of the different sections. So number one is your customers. So you want to think about who your early adopters are. And your early adopters are, and by the way, if you are not able to open up a lean canvas to make a copy of, please put that in the chat so we'll know. Though I will not be able to see the chat, but Joseph can. Okay, so those are people who are waiting. They're just waiting for your product or service, right? These are people who they used to stand all night out in front of an iPhone store to buy the new iPhone, right? Those are the early adopters. And then, but they're not your established customers later, because they're going to go on to something else, right? They're always early adopters. They want the newest thing, right? And then think about who your target customers are. Those are the ones who are going to be your established customers over time, right? So the people who would like or could use your product or service, and not the ones who are waiting for it, the other people that you could sell it to. So I'd like you to just take 1 minute and put in the customer box of your lean canvas some thoughts you have about the early adopters down at the bottom of that block there, and then the target customers up at the top. I'll tell you when 1 minute is up. Okay, we're going to move on to the next part. So those are the customer's problems, right? So what I want you to do, if you identified more than one category of customer, then I want you to just pick one for the rest of the lean canvas. And I really do want to encourage you to take the minute each time to fill it out, because that's a great way to start your thinking. Okay, so customer's problem. So that's the need that you're going to try to fill, or the niche, or the niche you're going to be in, or the problem in the marketplace that you're going to try to solve. Sometimes it's referred to as a pain point, because if the customer is feeling pain, I'm usually thinking more like emotional or mental, intellectual pain, not not necessarily physical pain, though it depends on your product, right? And then that's that you want to help them get rid of their pain. That's their problem, and that's what you want to help them deal with. Okay, so there are always existing alternatives, as I mentioned, and that's how people are currently trying to satisfy their need or solve their problem. That's the competition. So maybe they're not competition, not very good at what they do, but they are competition, and some people are paying them. So write down at the bottom of that block who some of the competition is. So you got 1 minute to fill out the customer's problem block in the upper left-hand corner. Okay, moving on to the next one. So the solution is the product or the service that you're creating. And be detailed and specific. What exactly is your product or your service? That's all it's going to say. So please take 1 minute and write what you can about the details of the product or service that you want to offer to your customers. Okay, next slide. So that's your unique value proposition. So that's the why of what you're doing, right? Is what you are selling different and worth buying? Is it different from the competition? Will it solve the customer's problem? And is it at the right price for them, that they'll be willing to put that money in there to solve their problem? So to create a unique value proposition, you want to talk about the benefits that your product offers, right? What will this thing do for you? Let me give you an example. So under the product, when you described it, let's talk about a drill. So a drill, you could say the features of a drill are, does it have an electrical cord, or does it have a battery? Is it reversible or not? Does it have a light on it or not? Those are all features. But the benefits are it will make a hole. That's why people don't buy it for its features. They buy it because they want to make a hole in the wall, or wherever they want to make a piece of wood, or whatever they want to make a hole, right? So you want to say, what are the benefits of your product? How does this benefit your customer? And then what makes your product or your service valuable? Why is it valuable to them? And then connect that to the buyer's problem. Oh, you have this problem. You want to put a heavy painting on your wall. Our drill will make the kind of hole you need easily so that you can hang that painting that you want. That'd be a way to connect it to the buyer's problem. and also differentiate yourself as the preferred provider of the value, right? So, you could say, this is the best drill, or the battery lasts longer than any other drill, or it's got a brighter light, or it's easier to use, or whatever you want to say about it. So let's take 1 minute, and please fill in that portion of the Lean Canvas. Okay, we're going to move on. So we're going to talk about the marketing channels. And what I mean by marketing channels is there's lots of different kinds of marketing channels. There's like social, people think marketing channels, social media, that's only one channel. Offline stuff, business cards, billboards, speaking engagements. There's lots of different kinds of channels. So what you want to know is, how do your early adopters and other customers get their information about how to solve whatever problem it is that they have? Some people read newspapers, local papers, right? Some people look at online stuff. And some of that is owned. For example, they own it, right? The Instagram feed or the Facebook page, it's theirs. And some are paid, and that's like a Facebook ad. So you have to pay money. So if you've got an Instagram feed or a Facebook page, you own that, right? But if you pay to make an ad, then you're paying for it. So there's some stuff you can do for free and some stuff you have to pay for. Also local broadcast media, TV, radio, and then there you go. And then face-to-face, right? I mentioned speaking engagements, door-to-door, networking at business mixers. There's lots of different ways to go face-to-face. And then how are they going to buy it from you? So one thing is, how do you get the information out to them? And the other thing is, how do you actually get your product or service to them? And how do you get money from them? So let's take a minute and fill out the marketing channels portion of the Lean Canvas. Oh, wait. There we go. Okay, so that's the end of time on that one. And I want to point out something important here, and that is, you will not know all the answers to many of these things unless you talk to your customers, which is why customers is first. Figure out who your customers are and then go talk to them. Ask them about their problems. Ask them where they read. And there's lots of other ways that, if you work with a business advisor at the Small Business Development Center, with me or any of the other like 15 advisors, there are lots of us who can help you figure this stuff out. Okay. Oh, and so are they going to buy online? Are they buy from a physical store? How are they going to do that? Okay. So now you need to think about the money coming in, your revenue. So where's it going to come from? Is it directly from the customer, directly from the end user? A lot of times the end user is not the customer. For example, if you, let's say that you're putting in a new computer system for some company, right? Well, the end user are the people who are using the computers, but they may not be the customers. The customers are the people who pay you and decide to pay you, right? So that might be the head of information technology in the company, for example. So that's you want to think about, where's that money going to come from, and also, so who's actually going to pay you, and then is it going to be business to business, like in the example I've gave, or is it business to consumer? So, for example, in Dave Shaw's case, if he's a financial advisor, he's probably mostly business to consumer, though he could also give, he could give financial advice to businesses as well. And then how are they paying you? Is it a monthly thing? Is it by the unit that you sell? Is it some percentage of something? How are you going to get your money? And I don't know if it says it here. So it might be for the goods they buy. It might be, again, per item or per order, or for services, it might be per hour or per day, or it might be by the month on a retainer basis. And I think that's the last one on that. So please go ahead and take a minute and fill out the revenue stream. How much, I want you to estimate, how much do you think you can make from these different sets of customers? Or I asked you to talk about one set of customers. So think, how much money might you actually be able to make from them over the course of a year? So take a minute and fill out the revenue portion of the lean canvas. Okay, next slide. So these are your costs. So the question is, what expenses are you going to have? Where's the money going to go? Who are your suppliers or whatever, your employees or whoever that might be? What does it cost to keep your business going? You have to think about that stuff. And then there's line items. What are each of the things and the amounts that are costing you money for things like materials, employees? These are some of the big ones, right? Insurance, marketing, rent or loan repayment. So those are the different things I want you to think about and write about in the cost section of your lean canvas, and you'll have a minute to do that. So that's the end of time on that one. So now we've got the metrics, the things you're going to measure to see how successful your business is being. So what are you going to measure, right? could be things like revenue. You definitely want to be measuring revenue, costs, profit, right? That's the financial part. But it might be how many referrals do you get? So you got customers and how many of them refer other customers? Or you have, networking partners and how many of them refer? How many referrals do you get? Very important for a business. And also retention and renewal. So the thing is, it's very costly to get a customer, but it's much less expensive to keep them. So you want to measure how many of your customers are staying with you month after month or year after year or purchase after purchase, because that's another thing that's valuable to measure. Okay, so take a minute, write what you can about the things you can think of that will help you measure the success of your business. 1 minute. So time's up on that one, and we're going to the very last part of the lean canvas. That's the one that's called unfair advantage. So again, what is it? Maybe your advantage? These are possible advantages you might have over the competition. Maybe you're an industry expert. Maybe you got the dream team. Maybe you have a large established network or reputation. Is it your established community? Maybe you've got a community, right? That include your customers, customers themselves. Maybe you've got a great Google ranking. Your search engine optimization is terrific, and you're right there at the top of Google for your category, right? Or maybe you have really low costs, and so then you can make, even though maybe you're not making that much money, your profit's high. So there's all those possibilities, right? So I want you to take 1 minute and write down what are the things that can help you, can make it difficult for the competition to copy what you do. And again, there's things like trademarks, patents, copyrights, etc. Okay, so now I'm going to do a little recap, right? So it's just what I said at the beginning. You can see them all over here in their little boxes. Customers, problem, value proposition, the solution, what they call unfair advantage, revenue streams, cost structure, metrics, and marketing channels. Okay, so now I have a very important question that I want to ask. I'd like you to answer it in the chat. Did you get something of a start? Did you do anything at all in some of these boxes on your lean canvas? So if you did, please type your name in the chat. Perfect. We got at least one. So Lucy did. Great, Lucy. Glad to hear it. Anybody else? Type your name if you were able to get some work done on your lean canvas. Terrific. We got two, Lucy and Maria. Maybe we got more. We'll see. So again, if you did some work on that lean canvas while I was talking you through it, please type your name in the chat. And I want to ask you, Joseph, if are you able to give permission to a participant to share their screen?
I believe with the webinar, we can give them permission to use the microphone, but not to share the screen.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, so Lucy or Maria, there can be value to you in sharing your start of Lean Canvas with everybody and getting feedback about it. So if you're willing to do that, please type your name in the chat again, and then we'll figure out a way that I can show it. And then
I
we
may
can-
be able to promote them to a
Oh.
panelist and then
Oh,
go from
okay.
there. Mhm.
Okay, so we got Maria so far, and tell you what, can you promote Maria as a co-host, and then we'll see if Lucy wants to do this too. Somebody said I'm confused. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks like Maria can't at the moment.
But we have two Marias.
Oh, it looks like it, huh?
So do we have two? We have Maria Zaragoza and Maria Turquoise. So Maria Turquoise, can you, if we give you permission, can you share your screen with us?
It looks like I promoted to Lucia Campos. Looks like she can.
No, Lucia said she can talk, but she can't. She did
Oh,
it
I
on
gotcha.
notepad on the not on the document.
Mm-hmm.
But how about Maria Turquoise? Can you are you able to share your screen if you get co-host permission?
So I have promoted Maria Turquoise, so she should be able to share her screen and turn on her mic and whatnot.
Okay, so tell you what, let me stop sharing and see if she does.
There we go. I'm seeing
Oh,
Maria now.
wonderful.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So thanks so much for doing this. Can you go ahead and open up your document and then share the screen so we can take a look at it?
Sure.
And where are you located this evening?
I'm in Yuba City,
Wonderful.
and I have just opened a store in Yuba City. It's been like 2 months ago.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I am right now. I'm struggling a lot.
No, I understand. So Maria, do you know Rachel Downs?
No, no
Oh, you
idea.
probably should. That's right, Rachel. Be good for her to know you. Is that right?
Actually, I was
I
giving
think she
dinner
said
to my
Maria
kids.
was in Yuba City, right? Yep. So Maria, you're in Yuba City. We can definitely introduce you to Ashley Potocznik
Oh, I'm sorry. I
with
got
Yuba
confused.
City. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
I'm so sorry. I keep getting confused about which you is which you. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. So Maria, can you go ahead and share your screen?
Yes,
Open up your Lean Canvas and share your screen.
I did, but I don't know how to do that.
Okay. So you have your Lean Canvas on your screen, right? You can see it?
Yes.
Okay. So there should be a green button at the bottom. It says share screen. And if you click on it, then you can click on the image of your little thumbnail of your Lean Canvas and show it.
I did that.
Yeah, you have to be the Lean Canvas has to be the main thing on your screen.
Yes.
Then you click the green button, and then you have to do two things. You click share screen, and then you down at the lower right, you have to click share. There you go. Okay, so how do we make her full? Oh, and then how do we make her the main? I'm seeing everybody. So how do we make her the only screen that anybody sees? Can we do that, Joseph?
Let me see if I can.
Like pin her or something like that?
Mhm.
I think she would have to share screen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think she's sharing screen.
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
Quite yet.
Yeah. She just turned off her camera.
Oh, okay. I got confused because I saw the image of the thing there. So again, Maria, are you able to have your lean canvas on the screen and then share the screen? Oops.
We
Oop,
lost her.
like she may have logged out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Lucia said she can do it if we would like, but I was gonna ask Maria to email, if she can email it to us, and then we can share it on her behalf
Right.
if she comes back on.
Yeah. Now, Lucy. So Lucy, you did it on a notepad. There's also a possibility you could take a photograph of the notepad and then email it to us, and then we can put it on the screen if you want. Okay, so I was hoping we'd get one because it's a very useful exercise to actually walk through one. So what I'm going to do, we're going to wait for her, but in the meantime, I'm going to go see if I can find one that I can share with you.
Looks
Hi,
like
can you hear me?
there we go. Yep, Lucia.
So, I was just writing it down on my kids' construction paper. It's not very pretty and it's all over the place. But I can walk through the segments if you would just want me to start with like from left to right?
You mean
Or
talking through it?
yes.
It'd be great if we could see it. But if you want to talk through it, then do that. Just go in the order that I shared with you, if you would.
So the early adopters. Am I starting in the right section?
Yeah, that's great. The customers, yeah.
That would be I think at first it would be the general public. Okay, so my idea for a business is to have a small party room that people could rent for special occasions.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the early adopters, to get people to come and see the space, I would be hosting my own small events like tea parties for kids, like photo opportunities with superheroes, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would get the general public at first. And then the people that would stay long term, my customer base would be maybe brides to be, moms that have parties to plan, whether that be like baby showers or birthday parties. So the problem was that I saw that we needed an affordable party room in our area. There are currently already other party spaces that could be rented, but they're pretty pricey from what I have seen.
Mm-hmm.
So the solution would be to provide an affordable party room. And let me see. So that was the problem, existing alternatives, solutions. And then let me see. Did you go with cost next?
Unique value proposition is probably next.
Unique value proposition.
It's the upper center box.
Okay. So that was just me thinking of a lot of people in our area don't have space in their homes to be able to host these, with like in their backyard. I don't know if I did that right. So I would be providing an alternative for them that would be affordable and easily accessible. I don't know if I did that right.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing is, the unique value proposition is how you are different and better than the competition. Why would they want to hire you?
So we are more affordable.
Right.
And we are we're not locked in with specific vendors. Some of the locations that are available for rent right here, you have to use a vendor list, and sometimes those vendors are expensive. So we're non-exclusive. So we would allow you to bring in like your own food instead of having to hire a caterer, that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
High level concept. I was kind of, I think I got kind of lost there.
Well, so that one's a hard one. That's like one way to think about it, that is like a slogan, right? Like for Nike, just do it, right? So you don't have to worry about that one right now.
Okay. And then do I go to unfair
Did you
advantage?
talk about the specific solution already, which is what the nature of the party room is, like what the features are?
So the features would be it would come already with tables and chairs, the option for us to set up and clean up for you.
Mm-hmm.
And did I mention already that we wouldn't that you could bring in your own food and that would keep the cost down for the party goers?
Great.
Okay.
Okay. So then the next one would be sorry, did you talk about the unfair advantage yet? That'd be a good one to talk about now if you haven't already.
Is that where you were talking about like how we can be showcase like the rock stars of it?
No, that's that's the one between customers and value proposition. It's sort of upper right, but not all the way to the right.
Unfair advantage. I don't know.
That's like, how can you keep people from copying you?
I think so. I didn't write anything down at first for that one.
Okay.
But what I'm thinking about it is even if people did copy me, I just feel like I could do it better. I have the advantage where I've worked in event planning in the past, and it's my strong suit.
Right.
And I enjoy it, and I have a lot of creativity. So with me, they'll never know what's coming next. I'll always do something new.
Terrific. Okay, fabulous. So the other thing is other places might have a place, but they have sort of a formula, but you're more creative. That's a good thing. Okay, so let's go down to the financial stuff, the revenue and the cost.
So the only thing that I have for that is I looked at a space here in town in Yuba City, and they want like $7,000 right off the bat. It's $3,500 a month. So and then that would include, but that's not even the bare minimum, because then I would have to add utilities and business license fees, insurance,
right.
And then the cost of the equipment, which would be like the tables, the chairs, any marketing money that I would use. So I have no idea how much it would truly be. I just know that the rent space for the actual building is $3,500 a month with a 3-year lease, and it's going to go up every year. For like, I think he said 5% the first year, and then the second year they can talk about it. Okay. So I'm guessing ballparking it maybe around $5,000 a month, and that's just to break even.
Got it. Okay, so that you're saying you would need 5,000 a month, at least 5,000 a month in revenue. So then you have to think about how many customers you're going to have, how much is each event going to cost, what other money might you get. Those are all the things you have to figure out. So 2 more questions for you. One is the metrics. What kinds of things are you going to measure to determine how successful your business is being?
So for the metrics, I could sell tickets for these events ahead of time so that I can see what the interest is for people to attend these events. And then I could also pre-sale dates for parties. One of the videos that I've been watching on how to start a business talked about like Kickstarter accounts, where if you get a certain group of people to sign up for your product ahead of time before you even launch it, then they get a special price. And that way you could get some money so that way you could start the business. So I was thinking if I divided the 3,500 by 4 and then try to figure out, because there would be 4 weekends in a month, how many weekends I would have to pre-sale.
Mhm. Right.
Then I could come up with the $7,000 for the deposit.
Mhm.
But I would want to do almost, I feel like double, because I also have to invest in getting equipment. I'd have to get the
Right.
tables, the chairs, a security system, the business licenses. So if I
Yep.
could come up with a way to get like $14,000, so that way I could at least start.
Mhm. That's great. Okay, last question. So if people are going to be looking for, if they want a party space, where are they going to go looking? Are they going to look online? Are they going to read the newspaper? Are they going to talk to people? How are they going to find? How might they find you?
So
That's the marketing channels.
for marketing channels,
Mhm.
I am heavy into social media. I find it as one of the ways that it's like the cheapest and most effective way to
Mhm.
spread the word. I
Mhm.
just did an event for our county, the Bridging Hope, the Walk for Suicide Awareness,
Mhm.
and I had a plan for marketing for that. And I had a coworker tell me that she actually heard about the event in 5 other places other than at work. And so I thought that was super successful. I went
Mhm.
on radio stations and did interviews. I posted
Great.
it on social media. I did flyers. I sent it out to
Mhm.
the schools as well.
Mhm.
I posted it on, I asked my friends and family to share the information. And I got it in the newspaper. And then I also did speaking engagements with community groups as well. So I figured if that worked for a fundraising event, that
Mhm.
could possibly work for me for my own personal business.
Yeah, absolutely. And what you're going to want to do is measure like how much time and money are you putting into each of the channels and how many customers you're getting from each one, because then you
Right.
know what your return on investment is. So that is a great start on a piece of construction paper. I want to tell you, Lucy, that's terrific. I do have a couple of suggestions for you. One of
Yes.
them is I want to go back to the customers, because the customer is everything in a business, right? So
Uh-huh.
I want you to try to think very specifically about the groups of people who are most likely to rent a party space, right? The general public is almost never anybody's customer.
Okay.
Jeff Bezos is almost the only person in the world who the general public is his customer, right? But
Uh-huh.
think specifically about you mentioned some, right? Parents, people are getting married, et cetera, right?
Yes.
And then the other thing is, I would say talk to potential customers about every single thing on the lean canvas and listen to what they have to say, because they know more about your business than you or anybody else do, because they're the customers.
Right.
I want to make that suggestion. Okay, Lucia, thank you very much. I really appreciate you be willing to do this, because it gives us a great example to think through.
You're welcome. Thank you for walking me through it.
Yeah. So, and I can see you're in party mood right there. You got your party thing going up there. Okay, so let me go back. Where is my, oh shoot, where did it go? Get my document back up here. All right, it should be there. It should look like this. Where is it? Oh, not that one. Sorry. Trying to get my screen back up again. Where is it? Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. Okay, got it. Okay, so we're getting toward the home stretch here. Where did it go? Oh, not that one. That one. Share. Can you see my screen yet?
Yep, you can see the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I have to just go to SlideShare. Okay. Okay. So we went through the lean canvas. Just go real quick there. Okay. Now we're going to talk about, so for the one-page business plan and for the traditional business plan, there's 2 more things you need. One is a vision statement, which is what are you building, right? What is exactly that you're doing? What are you trying to make happen in the world? For example, IKEA says our vision is to create a better everyday life for many people. I have a feeling that was translated from Swedish. Okay, next one, building a mission statement. So building a mission statement, the example here is, or the description is, what is your promise to the world? Short, 6 to 8 words, maximum 2 or 3 sentences. So listen to this, very interesting. Tesla. To accelerate, notice how they use the word accelerate, right? Like in a car. Like some people might think, oh, gee, electric cars, they don't accelerate very fast. So they got that word in there. To accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. Because notice, they're not just a car company. They also have a charging network, and they've got these batteries you can buy and put at your house to, capture solar energy or maybe your electrical energy if there's an outage or whatever. So you want to create those two things. So the world overnight, I think that's FedEx. Logistics, I forget. That's somebody's mission statement. I forget who that is. Maybe it's UPS. I don't know. Or satisfaction guaranteed or your money back. There's lots of companies who offer that. Okay, so a little review of building a plan. We'll take a little poll and then we'll move toward the wrap up. Okay, so you want to work through your lean canvas like Lucy and Maria just did, and add your mission and vision statements. Decide if you need more, like do you need a traditional plan or a pitch deck? And let's do the third poll.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and launch. And just an FYI, John, we've got about 10 minutes remaining. So let me close this one. Launch poll number 3. All right, so it looks like we have a poll going. And I'll go ahead and give everyone about 45, maybe 35 seconds to answer this.
Unfair advantage is difficult. If it's a product, it's pretty easy. You get a patent, right? If it's a book, it's pretty easy. You get a copyright. But other things are harder. And there's one more answer. I didn't see it on the bottom, I guess. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, the costs.
So we'll go to give about 3 more seconds. Let me end the poll now and share the results.
Terrific. So unfair advantage got the most votes, and then we got cost structure, marketing channels. And by the way, I just want to remind you, SBDC business advisors can help you with all the different parts of the lean canvas. And then what steps did you take? So will you take? So somebody says do a second pass. A couple of people said they do that. And also 2 people said they would get an advisor. And I think both of those are great thinking. Okay, so I'm going to move right on. Don't need that one. So we're going to go really light on financial analysis because the heavy stuff in financial is going to be in 2 separate sessions next week and the last week. So you are going to need startup projections. Like you need to know how much money you're going to need to start your business and keep it running long enough until you start getting revenue in. So that includes your startup costs. And Lucia did a great job talking about that. Got the lease, we got the furniture, got the insurance, got the business license, all that kind of stuff. And then your operating costs. Once you get started, you have to pay your operating costs until you get enough out of the money that you've raised to start up, until you get enough revenue in to cover that. And your cash flow projections. How much you're going to get, when you're going to get it, how much you're spending, when are you spending it, so you know how that's all going to work out. And you have to say what your assumptions are. We're going to get 3 clients the first month and 7 the second month and 14 the third month, whatever it might be, right? And here's how much they're going to pay, et cetera, et cetera. And you need to know when are you going to break even, because you got to break even before you run out of money. And then an opening day balance sheet. So how much money do you have, and then how much are you going to be putting out the first day you open. So like I say, this is finance light because we're going into that heavy next week and the final week. Then you need your financial statements, which we're going to go into in detail in the future, balance sheet, income statement, also called profit and loss, and the cash flow statement. Okay, so working capital. So when you're getting ready to launch, you're launching your business, you're out there establishing your business, you're getting a license, your insurance, all that, and you're finding customers. And there's a cost to finding customers. Maybe you're doing advertising. Maybe you're maybe you're driving around talking to people, whatever it might be, right? And then you make your first sale. Now you're in business. Now you're not planning anymore. You're actually in business. And so you need money before you actually, because you're putting out money and you're not getting any till here. You're not getting very much. So now this is where you break even. So you got to have enough money to get yourself to the break even point, because now sales are high enough to meet your capital needs. Not going to go into this because this is something for future, but a cash flow projection helps estimate your working capital needs. You have to think about seasonality, right? I don't want to guess for Lucia, but my guess is that the spring and maybe the summer and the fall, there's more parties, except maybe in December, but probably February, early March, maybe not so many parties. And you have to think about the best case, the worst case, and the most likely case, because people who want to loan or invest money are going to want to know that stuff. And you have to say what your assumptions are. And you need at least 2 years of projections, sometimes 3 or more, depending on who you're going to show this to. So these are examples. We're going to actually go into these in detail probably next week, I think it is, or very last week. So this is an example of an income statement or profit and loss statement. So as you can see, here's the revenue, and then here's the expenses, and here's your net profit. Could be a loss, depending on how you're doing. So like I say, there's revenue, which includes things like sales, cost of goods sold, any other revenue you have, like subscriptions and royalties, investments. Maybe you're making money from that. Dave Shaw can help you with that. And then operating expenses, your sales expenses, overhead, and any financial expenses like, you're paying interest on a debt, or you got bad debts, things like that. Okay, so the balance sheet is a summary of the financial balances of the company in a particular moment, right? And this is called the accounting equation. Assets equals owner's equity. That's what you own in the business, and any liabilities you have. So here's all the assets, 117,800. And here's all your liabilities, which is 37,000. That's what you owe, right? And then your equity, that's what you own. That's 80,800. And these two things need to be the same. That's the accounting equation. Assets equals liability, equity plus liabilities. So assets, I didn't mention. So those are things like any cash and investments, accounts receivable, if you own land or a building, tools, equipment, those are all assets, plus goodwill is an intangible asset, right? And then liabilities include things like any money you owe, like on a loan, or accounts you have to pay. You got stuff from suppliers, they gave you 30 days to pay, you got to pay those. Any taxes you might owe during the year you haven't paid yet. And then there might be stock, or just retained earnings. This is, if you don't have stock, you can still think about, here's the stuff we've made and this is what we've kept. Okay, so quick review, financial analysis, look at the time here. And I just talked about these. We're not going to do the poll on this one, but I'm going to quickly show you the tools and resources, and we're going to end. So there's some online planning tools. Some free resources include, I mentioned, bpplans.com. Again, you're going to get this slideshow. You'll have all this information. The Senior Corps of Retired Executives is another resource for you that's free, and the Small Business Administration and the Small Business Development Center and all of its advisors and most of its training are free resources for you. Paid resources include things like liveplan.com, vengage.com, and that's it on that. And so I want to talk a little bit about one-on-one advisor services at the local SBDC office. We will help you through writing your plan and put your financials together. Don't start from scratch. Use templates, use tools, get help from the SBDC. No need for a poll on that. And the wrap-up includes what we covered: how planning helps, types of plans, how to build a plan, financial analysis, and the tools and resources. So at the very end, what I'm going to tell you is, if you want to have a question, put it in the chat. We'll try to answer it at the end. The objectives I told you, hopefully you'll be able to understand and explain the reasons for creating a business plan, select the type of plan that's best for you, complete at least some draft of a lean canvas, and understand what are the financial documents you're going to need. So next steps, review your lean canvas, what needs to be added or updated, create the first draft of a plan based on the canvas. It could be a one-page business plan. It could be a traditional plan, depending on what you need. Check on this link, which you'll get in the PowerPoint when you get it, or the canvas, whatever it is, slides, Google Slides, or whatever you're going to get. Check for SBDC classes on anything, including financial planning, and also sign up with the SBDC and work with an advisor for free to help you complete your plans and financials. That's it. So hopefully you got some takeaways and actionable items. And I mentioned sign up for training and with an advisor. And I think that's the very last slide. It is. So we're done right on the dot. Let's see if there's anything in the chat. We do have two things in the chat. Oh, there's a survey that we want to ask you to fill out because it'll help us know how we're doing, make these sessions better, hopefully starting next week. And I think that's it. Then if there's no more questions, I think we're done. So thanks everybody for your participation. I see Dave had to leave and Rachel had to leave, but Lucia's
I'm
here.
still here.
Yeah, I'm still seeing Dave.
Oh, you are? Okay, great. So Lucia is still here. Thank you so much for sharing your model with us and thinking it through. Dave, thank you for your presentation and your comments. Joseph, thanks for running this show. And I think Suyi's off now, but
I'm here.
Oh,
I
you
just
are.
I can't stop my video, but I'm here. I just
Oh,
want to
okay.
thank Dave and Rachel. She jumped off, and everyone who stayed on the webinar. I hope it provides a lot of value and you know, like John is saying, get our help services at no cost.
Terrific. And we'll be back here next week, same time, same link, right, Joseph?
Yep, same link. And all attendees, you will receive the recording and the slides in a follow-up email.
Well, thank you all very much for participating this evening.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Dave. Thanks,
Thank you,
everyone.
John.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Joseph.
Thank you, Dave.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.